Hello guys, this is Petram Raufi and you are watching the trading review of the day. We are going to look through the stock market and of course this Forex market as well. We won't forget about the crypto market and we are going to look through the potential of the price movement by the help of the charts, by the help of the different scale of the charts of MetaTrader, and we are going to find some solution for intraday traders. And of course, you're going to see what would go on in the future with different assets. And of course, we're going to see what happened from previous time and what kind of news we have today, so we could make more attention and pay more attention on them, so we would know what kind of trend is today's trend. I'm going to start from one of the interesting news which we heard already during the previous week. All the attention was kind of really concentrated on the Federal Reserve System meeting and on the energy crisis of Britain and etc. and etc. But what is really going on is that all of these facts are going to make their effect on the markets during some time. We know about the China's recession, and we know about the bankruptcy of one of the very important Chinese real estate giants, which now we already know that China is not going to help them. But all these factors, all of these news are for long term. What is going on in short term, and what we can say about the Forex market, about the stock market in the short term. As you know, the stimulus package, which have to be approved, which is about $3 trillion by the Senate of the United States, it's kind of under the pressure nowadays, but it would be approved, as we know all. And the Federal Reserve System monetary policy changing as well, it would happen during maybe some months. So the optimism which we have nowadays on the stock market, it would kind of continue. Let's look through the important news of today. Kind of important because it's related to one of the very economically raised countries, about Japan, and about the new Prime Minister of Japan, which have been already choose for to be a Prime Minister of Japan. And as we told you from previous time, that this person is going to continue to approve the stimulus packages, and this fact could really make the Japanese indexes to go higher, and it would help the economy, but it would make the Japanese yen, the Japanese currency, national currency, to fall down. And there's too many different predictions about him, but the most important one is that he's not going to kind of tighten the monetary policy in any ways. So he's not going to tighten the monetary policy. It means that the Japanese yen could feel a real weakness in the long term. And of course, United States dollar is kind of powerful nowadays. So let's make a little look on the pair of Japanese yen and United States dollar to Japanese yen, because as you know, on the daily chart, and this is the movement about which we were talking during previous week, and all of this upward movement is kind of related to this fact, to this news, that this person, this new Prime Minister, is actually going to continue the stimulus packages. Here we had a real good impulse in the United States dollar to Japanese yen, but when the reversal would come, when the reversal would happen, this kind of stopping of the trend here, it could really make us really nervous. But let's look through the United States dollar index, so we could say more concretely what is going on. As we see in the United States dollar daily chart, from previous time, we have seen the next uprising movement, and it was actually the potential about which we told you that this potential exists, and this accumulation of the energy under the local resistance could really cause the next impulsive upward movement, which happened in the United States dollar pairs even, like United States dollar to Japanese yen, but it didn't happen really this beautifully on the pairs like United States dollar to Swedish franc, to Swiss franc, or the other ones. But as I told you again, Japan have a real interesting new economic factor, which is the new prime minister, that could have a really good impact on the economy, because he's going to approve the next stimulus packages for Japan. And as we see now, we have already retested the next target resistance. And the next target resistance, it could be the last target resistance. So be careful about the United States dollar, because as we are looking through the index, the impulse due to the scale which we have, that's a daily chart, and we have a daily candles. This impulse of daily candles is very, very powerful. And we have a retest we have a breakthrough of local resistance, which is here, and we have a retest of the next target resistance, which is here. But about this target resistance, about 94.80 or about 95, I cannot be so sure. 95 is a very important level, like 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120. All of these levels are very important. So 95 is a really important level, and we could really get stuck under it. We could really get stuck, and if something like that happened, it won't be really good for dollar indexes. It could mean that maybe the stock market could start to rise again. Let's see what is going on with the stock market, market of the United States, which is now kind of getting strength above some target levels, target supports. S&P 500. On the daily chart, it really retested very beautifully, kind of retested the support of 4,360 or 350. And as we see here in the daily chart, we have a real good reversal signal because of new candles, which is already forming. Here we have a signal of upward movement in the S&P 500, and this upward movement could be really fast, could be really short term. So be careful that today, during the day, due to the hourly chart, due to the 30-minute chart or 15-minute chart, we have a real good opportunity of the next uprising movement. Next of the uprising movement from 4,400 to 4,000, maybe 440 or 420. So this upward movement could really happen during today's day. But about Dow Jones, and the situation here is kind of really similar. This upward movement could continue to 3,480. 34,800. But after that, we could have a reversal. Now, let's see what would go on in today's day due to the economic calendar which we have. And as you see, we have a very important GDP of the United States, which is not changing, but due to some facts about the chip shortage, the problem in the supply chain, and the other things, and actually the escalation of the situation between China and United States, I don't think that GDP is going to rise. Maybe it's going to fall due to some just facts. Initial jobless claims, which is getting higher, and that's not a really good sign due to this. The probability is telling that maybe it's going to rise about 4,000 people, and that's not really good for the United States dollar. And for Japan, we have kind of down rising in the large manufacturing index of Tankan, and for non-manufacturing index, we have a kind of rising. For Japanese yen, maybe situation today would be better. So about the dollar yen downward movement, we could kind of be more sure. Let's see what would go on with the other pairs like euro dollar, pound dollar, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar if this scenario really happened. As we see in the euro dollar, we observed the next downward movement because of the really powerful accumulation of the energy to the local support. And here we have a really a very powerful impulse, which is near to the downside border of the channel. And here we have another fact, which is the level of 1.16, the support, which is very important, and this support is really testing right now. So what would happen next? Here we have a signal of a reversal, very powerful impulse. So the reversal, the scenario about the dollar index reversal and downward, and the stock market indexes reversal upward could really happen. And this fact, we can actually see the signals about it in the United States, in the euro dollar, pound dollar, and Australian dollar to United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar to New Zealand dollar as well. Let's see, through pound, we kind of have a real good reversal here, and the reversal could really continue to the middle part of the previous impulse. As we said, the middle part of the previous impulse is about 1.35, and for euro, as we said, the middle part of this impulse is 1.1650. So the price could really retest and reverse and just retest this local resistance in the near future, during the daily trading of today's European session or maybe today's American session. Australian dollar as well is showing that it got some reversal upward, and New Zealand dollar as well. So we can really actually work here with the really short stops and more long profits. Australian dollar could really rise about 0.7230, and New Zealand dollar could rise till the middle of the previous impulse, which is 0.69. And we are waiting for the retest of 0.69 because of the accumulation here, which is retesting the local resistance, and it could go higher as well. About the commodity, about the gold, about silver, and all of the risky assets like United States dollar to JPY to Swiss franc and euro to Swiss franc. We are going to tell you as well. In the gold prices, in the daily chart, we are observing a probability of a reversal here because the amplitude is getting lower and prices are showing that they are shrinking. The volatility is shrinking, and this shrinking of volatility of gold is happening in the form of a downward wedge. And as you know, downward wedge pattern near to the local supports, it means the probability of a reversal. So maybe here we could have a very fast downward impulse to 2,720,710, and after the retest of this, if we got something like that, we got a real fast retest with a big paranormal, with a big paranormal candle downward, it would be a really good signal of next reversal upward, which could really reverse the whole trend upward. So here the wedge in the 4-hour chart or in daily chart shows us the probability of a reversal of the of the midterm reversal. In the other way, we have the convergence between RSI and the oscillator and the minimums, which is another sign of the probability of a reversal of gold prices in the near future. So in the gold, they have a real good signals, and actually this scenario is kind of very similar, and it's going actually in one way with the scenario of the dollar prices reversal downward, because as you know, the stock market have been shorted and have been fall to the target level, and now the stock market is kind of really could start to rise. There, despite the suspicions about the stimulus approval. As you know, stimulus is going to be approved. They're going to help people. They're going to approve the stimulus. They won't just like that cut this helps. And as well, the Europe won't do it that fast because it's a really dangerous thing. So be careful that we are waiting for next uprising during next week, maybe it could start at the end of this week or maybe at the start of next week. And this uprise movement could really continue during the week or maybe week and a half for stock market. And it would mean that the dollar scenario is going to be downward during this week, during the next week. And of course, all the euro, pound, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar pair are going to rise as well. And the commodity prices like oil, gold prices, and of course the Bitcoin prices as well, and silver prices are going to make upward movement in the near future during next week because of all of these factors. And the silver is showing a very beautiful accumulation, and it could really make some impulsive upward movements in the near future. Let's look through the daily chart. We have a retest of a really long-term support of 2180. We could have a corrective downward impulse, and after that we could really start to go higher. So don't forget about the risk. Don't forget about the risk, and don't forget that really our scenario before getting started, it could really get opposite impulse. So it's like always, every time when the market is retesting the local supports or local resistance, the probability of the speculative impulse get higher and higher. And this fact is the only fact of the risk, which really exists in the time of the reversal movements. And it just happened to kill the buyers which are going to buy from bottom and just to kill the sellers which are going to sell from the highs. So be careful, these things could happen and you need to catch the signal in the really short time. About platinum, as you see, here's accumulation to the very mirror level, very powerful mirror level, which have been retested from downside, which have been retested from upper side, and now it's retesting again from downside after a very, very powerful corrective speculative downward bearish candle, and of course we are looking after accumulation of the energy. So maybe in the near future we could really we could really observe the next strengthening of the price of platinum as well, which could really continue to 980. And for gold and for silver, it's like as well. It's our target levels are just to the middle of the previous impulse. Don't forget about it. About euro franc and dollar franc, we didn't tell you. Upward movement here for franc is more under pressure, but for yen it's really fast because yen, Japanese yen, is falling by himself because of the new policy of a new prime minister. Euro franc is under pressure, as you see, and it's a very better for euro franc to just trade it between this channel, inside this channel. When dollars start to fall, the franc would start to really not strong and very weak rising. Could really start a really weak rising in some way, but in other way, if franc start to rise, not moderately, after the dollar's reversal from the top of the market, the euro could really get strength. So in case of euro strengthening and franc moderate strengthening or straightening, this movement would continue there inside this channel. So you have to actually continue. This channel is existing a very long time. The impulses after the retest of the upward or down or the upside or downside borders could really continue to the next target levels, 1.87, 1.80, 70, and by the help of this channel, actually you can continue the trades, as you see. And USD dollar to franc, Swiss franc is showing a reversal as well. This reversal have potential to 0.93. Actually, have reversal. It has a potential to fall to 0.93. Do we have a divergence here? Unfortunately, I cannot see the divergence here, but it could happen. It could start its own formation. The prices of the oil and United States dollar to Canadian dollar, oil prices are rising again from 74.40. As you remember, from previous time, we had the strengthening above this mark, above 74.40, and now we are we're actually observing that prices are getting higher and higher. Previously, we had a divergence here, which worked and which actually made the prices to go down. But now we are observing a strengthening. On the daily chart and the 4-hour chart, the situation is really unbelievably hard. We cannot say anything about it in some way. But while we are above 74.40, the situation is good. But I think that maybe in the near future, we could make some upward impulses, but after that we are going to stuck under 74.40. And if we get stuck under 74.40, that would be not a really good signal. So while we are above 74.40, everything is great. If we get under 74.40, it won't be really good. In the case of United States dollar reversal downward and the WTI prices as well, here we could have a consolidational movement, which could happen inside a channel. So we are kind of waiting for this factor because United States dollar could really reverse, and oil market, oil prices are kind of going to reverse as well. So this pair, United States dollar to Canadian dollar, could really start to go inside the channel, to continue the movement inside the channel. About Bitcoin and Ethereum, as we said in yesterday's review, they made an upward impulse, which is a speculative movement. I really do not believe in such a movement, which is here, and we are under the mirror level of 45,000, and situation here is not really beautiful. It's really upsetting, and the prices are going to go down or maybe break through 40,000 in near future. Here for Ethereum as well, situation is really upsetting because they have retested the mirror level of 3,000 and they are going downward. And accumulation here we have in Ethereum. Maybe Ethereum won't go down that deep as Bitcoin. So for Ethereum, maybe situation would be better. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and write your comments under this video. Don't forget to subscribe on our channel and ring the bell so you would know when our online programs will start. Thank you again. Until next time, have a good tradings. Bye bye.